Hey everybody, Troy here. Gonna make a video about my Kemper. As you probably have seen in all the videos I make, I run direct for everything. I run direct at church. When I'm practicing, I run direct. You know, I have two small kids. I'm married, work a day job, and I don't have a 10,000 square foot house with a studio in it or any kind of soundproofing or anything. So I run direct all the time. At church, we play in a gym, so it's really, it doesn't lend itself, you know, to an amplifier cranked up to get that really nice edge of breakup tone that a lot of us are after. So we keep stage volume low and run direct so we can have complete control over the sound. Then obviously when I run direct, I make a lot of these videos later at night, so it's completely silent and works very well for me. But real quick, before we jump in, I just want to tell you what this video is not. So if you're looking for a video that's going to dive real deep or at all, I guess, into the effects on the Kemper, not happening in this one, because I basically use it as an amplifier. I run my pedal board straight into the Kemper as if it were an amplifier. So again, if you're looking for some demonstration of the effects, I'm not going to do that on this one, so you can probably move on. But if you're looking for a video that says, you know, how can I use this Kemper as a way to go direct and as a way to replace the amplifier that I love so much but can't use at the moment, then you might learn a thing or two in this video, because I'll go through some of the profiles that I like the best, some of the controls that I think really help set the Kemper apart from other direct methods. And I also plan on kind of going through and talking more about the journey that has brought me to the Kemper. I've gone through a lot of variations for a direct setup, and hopefully you can get something out of what I've learned to this point, finally landing at the Kemper as my go-to method for direct. Okay, so my journey with running direct has basically been line 6 HD 400. I used drive tones on that. I did have like a Timmy pedal that I'd run through it every now and then I would run out off the loop a line 6 M9 for delays and reverbs and stuff. So that was iteration number 1 for my direct setup. Did I love it? Nope. Did I hate it? Nope. The HD 400, the HD series for line 6, the amplifier models are pretty good. They're not terrible, but I wasn't completely satisfied. Obviously, wanting to go to an analog style board, plugging an analog board into a line 6 HD 400 didn't make a lot of sense. Wasn't really what I was after. So then I moved on to putting a Tech 21 Liverpool on my board, you know, after all my pedals, basically running into that as if it were an amp. And some of the earlier videos I did, there's a song at the beginning, kind of has a singing sort of lead part. And that's actually 2 Timmy pedals into a DD20 and then into the Liverpool. And the drive tones I thought were awesome. I could get great drive tones, and the character control on the Liverpool, on all those character series pedals, really helps shape the tone. The drive tones, again, were awesome, but what it was really lacking for me was the clean sound. I just could not get over the clean sound. So anything I wanted to be kind of like that pristine type sound just was not doing it for me. So kind of kept looking. And then from there, a friend of mine actually had mentioned, hey man, have you heard about this torpedo cab? And like, no, I had no idea. So I hopped on Sweetwater, it happened to be on sale, so I picked one up. And the torpedo cab, essentially what that is a cabinet modeler. So what I was missing on the Liverpool was true cabinet emulation. And when you make the switch from like a Liverpool to the torpedo cab, what you immediately notice is the bass response and how big the bass response is when you do true cabinet emulation through impulse responses. What a change that was. So welcome. I mean, I was ear to ear the first time I plugged this thing in. So I actually went direct into that for a long time. And I bought some impulse responses from Red Wires and Ownhammer. Those guys make some awesome impulse responses. So I was using ones from Matchless, and had a couple with the Slush and Golds, Blues, AC30 cabinets. Those sort of sounds sounded really good. But then, again, I was looking for something with a little more to the clean tone. So what I did is I added a Kingsley Squire AC preamp. So it's kind of like it's like Kingsley's version of an AC30 or Vox AC circuit. I plugged everything into the pre, that's a tube preamp, and then ran that into the Torpedo. And that helped the clean sound a lot. There's videos I did, like the review of the Nystrom Telly that I have, the Kestrel guitar. A lot of the pedal reviews at the beginning that I was doing, that is Squier Kingsley preamp into Torpedo cab. So pedal board, preamp, Torpedo cab. Super cool sound. I mean, about as clean, very nice clean tone, about as clean as you're going to get. But what I was lacking there was the breakup. So I couldn't get the Kingsley to break up, and I couldn't drive the Torpedo cab hard enough because the input sensitivity on that thing is just crazy high. So it overloads pretty fast, in my opinion. So it was either all clean or nothing, which makes it hard. Some of the overdrive pedals, like especially the King of Tone, I think shine when you have an amp that's breaking up a little bit already. Whereas if it's totally clean, it doesn't sound as well. So one of my, I would say, if I had a signature sound, is the red side of the King of Tone into an edge of breakup amp. I mean, tons of people use that because it sounds excellent. So it was lacking that edge of breakup tone. And then I kind of just went for the gusto, and I was watching like a lot of Pete Thorne reviews of the of different ways to run direct, basically. And I went and picked up a Jackson Scarlett, Newcastle 30 first, ran that into a Sir reactive load into the Torpedo cab, and boom, there was the edge of breakup tone, just incredible sound. And then I liked that so much, I picked up a Jackson Scarlett 30 and ran that same setup. So I was really happy with that. Pretty amazing sound, but in my opinion, it didn't translate very well from guitar to guitar. So, for example, plug a Telly into it, incredible. Plug my Duesenberg into it, and the Duesenberg just overloaded. Not overloaded, but it just hit the amp pretty hard because of the humbuckers, and it broke up pretty fast. And you can see that Brad actually re-released the Scarlett 30 recently and increased the headroom on the amp. So I had the previous version. I plugged AT7 and ATY7 preamp tubes in it to increase the headroom, and that helped a little bit. But, you know, really what I was thinking is, man, it's not doing it for me. It's a pretty expensive setup. So I decided to start looking, and I just stumbled on the Kemper. And the Kemper, basically, I was thinking, man, if this would satisfy my urge to have like a matchless HC30, a couple divided by 13 amps, I'd love to have a Vox AC30. I'd love to have a Fender Super Reverb, maybe a 2-Rock classic reverb. And obviously, as I mentioned this list, the dollar amount just grows like mortgage on your house grows. And that's not something with, having a family to take care of, and, kids to look after, and futures to hopefully contribute to. I just was not, first of all, probably could never convince my wife to do that. And secondly, I knew that wasn't a smart decision. So I'd have a Blackface Super Reverb just hanging out in my basement for the 20 minutes a month that I wanted to play a couple blues licks or something. So I started kind of thinking about versatility, and I saw the YouTube videos of the Kemper, and I was floored, just absolutely floored. So I sold the whole Jackson rig and the Torpedo cab and the Sir reactive load, sold all that stuff, picked up a Kemper, and I haven't looked back at all. I bought some profiles from Michael Britt. He has a couple divided by 13 profiles that are just out of this world. So I used there's one loaded up here, the JRT 915, and also I use his the ERT 33 profile. Both are AC30 style circuits, kind of like that British thing. And I use his matchless JJ30 profile, which is the John Jorgensen signature series. Super rare amp, but it came through Michael Britt's studio or practice space or whatever. He profiled it, sold it, and then I use an AC30 profile from some guy that I can't pronounce his name. First name's probably Hans. But I got hooked on that one by watching the YouTube video of him using that exact profile. So I picked that one up too. And I have tons more in here that I purchased, but those are primarily the ones that I use. And then I found some free Fender Super Reverb ones and a couple 2-Rock ones as well. But essentially, I just run pedal board straight into the Kemper. Kemper has that nice, I can get the edge of breakup tone with it, and I can have it at any volume I want, and I can go through these different amps. So for example, if I have the ERT 33, I have a profile set and saved for every guitar that I own. So I have it EQ'd slightly different for each one. And same thing when I go to AC30 or Matchless JJ30, I have a profile saved for each and every guitar that I have. So when I'm playing something else, I just flip over. It takes just a couple seconds to load up a new profile, and you're off and running. So I found it to be amazing. I've been so pleased. I think it's money well spent for my purposes and how I have to play. So I have to run direct. I'm not sure there's a better solution out there unless you can afford or justify having, 5 or 6 awesome amps running into a load box and then running into a true cabinet simulator. So that's kind of the explanation. My journey from HD 400 all the way to what I have now with the Kemper. And just want to give you some explanation as to how I landed here and my thoughts on some of the earlier stuff that I was using. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of play around with the Kemper a bit, show you some of the profiles that I use. I'll probably play over some tracks just so you can get an idea of what it sounds like in the mix. And if you do want to hear more, all the tutorials that I've done have been with the Kemper, every single one of them. Pedal reviews have not, and then the review I did of the Nystrom Kestrel guitar was not with that one either. But again, all the tutorials, so you can listen back, and I have in the description I tell you what profile I use, so if you're curious. But yeah, so I'm going to go through the Kemper, and I also want to teach you about some of the controls that I think really help to shape your sound and really help set it apart and make it the solution for me for running direct. So here we go. Okay, so here's the interface of the Kemper, and I just want to explain quickly how easy it is to use. So what I'm going to do here is I have it set right now to go to favorites. So when I have it in favorites, you can see I'm scrolling through here. I have divided by 13 set for my Duesenberg, Tone Master, Nystrom Tele, Veritas. And then I made a divided by 13 JRT 915 profile for the Tone Master and the Veritas. Let's get to another section here. So JJ30, Matchless JJ30, Duesenberg, Tone Master, Tele, Veritas, SC30, same deal, and then AC30, right? So you can kind of see how easy that is to use, how easy it is to get to each profile. And then let's say I'm on this JRT 915 profile currently, and I want to go to an ERT 33 profile for the Tone Master. Just highlight it, press load, done. And it changes everything. The sound is just, it just, like I said before, sort of like it changes clothes very fast, just instantly. Now look at the bottom, left to right, you have gain here, and this is like, if you're going to crank up your amp and it's going to increase the overdrive of the amplifier, that is basically that control. Bass like you're used to, mid like you're used to, treble, and presence. These actually make a difference. They're not just novelties. They do make a big difference in the sound. So if you're looking for an EQ that actually allows you to shape the tone and not just hint at shaping the tone, these actually do work incredibly well. So that's the primary interface. Now up here, above this button here, there's a button called Amplifier. If I hold that down, it brings up this second level. Definition, power sagging, pick attack, compressor. Press this button to go over. Clarity, tube shape, tube bias, direct mix. No idea what that's used for. I've never used it. But if I go back one level, this definition control is the one that I am just so impressed with. Basically what I do is I EQ the amp the way I want, and then if I'm lacking anything, if I crank the definition control up clockwise, it makes the sound brighter, but in the best way you can possibly imagine. And I tend to run a brighter sound. I think by itself a bright sound can be a bad thing, but in a mix, I think a lot of people run their tone a little bit too dark. So if you go in the mix, turn up the brightness a bit, it's going to translate really well with like an 8 or 9 piece band. So I tend to run a brighter tone on the amplifier, and then if I ever need to scale it back, then I just roll the tone knob down on my guitar. But that definition control is a game changer for me. And I'll do some demonstration of that definition control here in just a bit. Go this way. Clarity is the other one that I kind of use. That's like blending in a little bit of clean tone on the overdriven signal of the Kemper itself, so it keeps things pretty clear. I don't use that one as much as definition, but I find it to be pretty useful. But in essence, that's it. So again, favorites. Look at all these favorites I have stored here. Bad Cat, Matchless Chieftain. There's a Jackson amp, bunch of matchless stuff. 2-Rock, AC30. There's a Vibreverb, a Morgan. You get the idea, and these are just quick to call up. You just press load and boom. If you want to make adjustments, you can store them and all that stuff. It's really, really easy. So that's a quick breakdown of the interface of the Kemper and how I use it. Okay, so now what I want to do is just go through a handful of profiles. A lot of the ones that I have sound very similar to one another because they're all based on AC30 style circuits, but I'll hop into some of the Fender-ish profiles too to show you how those sound. But right now we're in probably my main profile, which is the divided by 13 ERT33. This one's set up specifically for the Tone Master that I have, so we're looking to see ELTM, Elliott Tone Master. And here's bridge pickup. But as you can see, if I lighten up the picking here, so it gets pretty gainy, cleans up really, really well though. And the next one I have is going to sound very similar to that, maybe a little more open sounding, a little brighter. Divided by 13 JRT 915. Alright, flick to the middle position there for a little bit. Alright, so let's check out maybe this Chieftain, see how that sounds. Alright, so a little bit more bass on that one, kind of chewier. Let's check out this JJ30. I like this one a lot too. And SC30, again, all in the same vein here. And let's go to like an AC30. This one should be pretty bright and twangy. So you can kind of see how effective the EQ is there. So I backed off the treble, and then it's easy to store and replace, and now that preset is saved going forward. Alright, so let's back up into maybe something a little cleaner. So here's a 2-Rock. Should be pretty clean, like Fender-y style. So now we'll flip over to the clean Fender. And then I'm going to toss on a little bit of Morning Glory here. Alright, so pretty Fendery, very bright. So then let's say I want to back off the brightness here. Just take the treble back a little bit. Alright, so there's a run through some of the more, I guess, profiles that I use most often. Okay, so now I want to show you the definition control. Definition control is accessed by holding the amplifier button towards the top. And you can see it's right here. So these correspond together. Now the definition control does something with brightness somehow. Not sure the science behind it, but I love this control. So I typically set up the EQ how I want it. So here, and then fine tune with the definition control. So let me give you an example of that. So you can see how that can be a really good tone shaper just by rolling this back and forth. And then let me flip over to the gain here too and show you how gainy it can get. So this is all the way down. So as I pick harder there, it doesn't break up as much, but let's bump it up here. So picking light to picking hard. Alright, so it gets kind of noisy once it gets up there, but that's a bit ridiculous anyways. Alright, so there's a run through of some of the profiles. Let's take a look now. I'm just going to play over some tracks and let you kind of hear the profiles as they interact with some pedals, some delay and some overdrives, and kind of in a band type setting. All right, so here's how I run the Kemper into the house system at church. Take that left XLR out directly to the snake, no direct box required. The left 1/4-inch output I bring up to this Behringer hotspot monitor here, where the right input is my guitar and the left input is the main monitor mix, and off we go. All right, so 3 quick and dirty reasons why I think the Kemper is the best direct solution out there for what I'm using it for. Number 1, authenticity. Thing sounds amazing, feels amazing. I've played a bunch of high-end amplifiers over the years, and through headphones, through the front of house, it just is so convincing, and it feels right, which is just as important when you're a player as the way it sounds. Number 2, portability. It weighs maybe 4 or 5 pounds, I don't know. But next to carrying a heavy amplifier with heavy transformers in it, especially when you're trucking 2 kids into a church in the morning, you know, the hustle and bustle of the morning to get there, to get ready for service and stuff, the weight, you just cannot beat how light this thing is and how easy it is to tote around. Last, versatility. Talked about before, you know, I would love to have 20 amps in my arsenal, ranging from matchless HC30 to divided by 13 ERT33 to a super reverb, vibreverb, 2-rock, Marshall JTM45, you name it. But bottom line is, it's not smart or logical for me to have a $20,000 amp collection. Just, I'm not going to get the use out of it, and for my family, it's just not a smart decision. So I get the pleasure of playing through convincing replications of those amplifiers through the Kemper. And as a player, it just makes me happy to be able to do that, just to call up, if I'm in a bluesy mood, to call up a super reverb profile and just kind of hack out some blues licks for a little bit, just to get it out of my system without having to drag a super reverb out of my storage room and play it, only to wish I could sell it, you know, to get $3 grand out of it or something if it's a vintage one. Or just, you know, feel guilty that I'm not using it the way it should be used or as often as it should be used. So authenticity nails it, portability nails it, versatility nails it. 3 quick and dirty reasons why I think the Kemper is the best solution out there for running direct at this time. Hey guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope that video about the Kemper was helpful and kind of points you in the right direction if you're curious about it at all. If you have questions, feel free to leave your questions in the description below. Shoot me an email if you want to at guitarforhisglory@gmail.com. Or take a look at the website. You can always fire me a message on WordPress too. That's www.guitarforhisglory.com. Thanks a lot, you guys. God bless. If you like the video and you're getting something out of this, please like it and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Just trying to spread the word about what we have going on here. If you have any suggestions, comments, ideas, get a hold of me. Let me know. Otherwise, take care, guys. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.